Would you go to a boring-ass church service on Sunday morning? Or stay in and watch a Hong Kong action classic?
Hard Boiled. A perfect cacophony of brutal violence, mayhem, and the odd touch of whimsical comedy. Because if you like origami like I do, then you would appreciate the paper cranes that permeate this movie. And I literally did that today, folks. On a Sunday morning, I watched Hard Boiled from start to finish. And I gotta tell you, it was like being baptized. A rain of fire, so to speak. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually doing my first 4K Hong Kong action classic review. And what better way to start this series of reviews off than with John Woo's 1992's Hard Boiled. Now, this is a film that has been dubbed better than a dozen Die Hards. Now, before I answer that quote, I think it came from Empire magazine, where people like Kim Newman might have made that absolute classic quote. Empire magazine back in the day when they were actually respected as a film review outlet. Now, whoever did actually coin that phrase are absolutely 100% correct. Because listen, while I like my action movies, when it comes to Hollywood and when it comes to Asian films, I'm including China, Japan, South Korea, those are far more superior. And I'll get into the reason why in a few minutes. But I have to show you this because it arrived yesterday. And look at this. Isn't this thing an absolute beauty? Chow Yun-fat, who I would say ranks alongside Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan as an absolute icon of Asian cinema. This man has so much charisma that it literally oozes out of his pockets. He just can't contain it. So this is the 4K, which I've got to tell you the story about this, folks, because I had pre-ordered it on Amazon.com. As soon as they dropped the announcement, I pre-ordered it. And then weeks went by and I thought, hang on a minute, I've seen other people reviewing this on their channels. Where's my copy? It turns out Amazon just cancelled it, which doesn't make any sense because before that I pre-ordered this and it arrived by Ringo Lam. I haven't actually watched it yet, but I might give a review for it afterwards. We know this film is the one that actually inspired Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs, but this arrived with no issues at all. Now, the only reason I can put down to why this was not sent to me from America, it might be a licensing agreement with Shout Factory. I don't understand why. So how I ended up getting this copy was through a seller on eBay in Canada. They actually charged a really good price. And yeah, instead of paying $49, I ended up paying $62 thereabouts. But it was worth every single penny. And I'll just read it back to you very quickly because it is it's quite extensive actually. But special features, disc one, you got the 4K UHD feature film. 4K scan from the original cinema negative, presented in Dolby Vision. And the thing is, the sound on this Blu-ray 4K is incredible. I've got a soundbar in my living room. I had the volume at 15. And if I went above that, the volume will be incredibly loud. It's just utterly ridiculous. So I know there's no Dolby Atmos on this, but to be honest, I think the soundtrack that they've just remastered or reblended, whatever you want to call it, it sounds great. I don't think it takes anything away, just apart from the fact that who was ever in the editing room decided to crank the volume metric intensity up to 1,000 plus. It's just insane. Yeah, this is a hard case, just like the lead character who's a hard-boiled cop. I wouldn't shoot at this though. You probably make a few dents in the end. But this arrived unblemished, well packed. I know some people have received scuffs on theirs and dents and you can't do anything about it. But I just wanted to show you the 3 discs inside. So that is the main 4K disc right there of one of the final moments of the movie where Chow Yun-fat, it's the third act of the film where he takes aim as Tequila and blows an explosive that he sets in the pipes of Maple Hospital. And then we got Tony Leung on the second disc, which is just the Blu-ray, which I've not watched yet. And yeah, it's the feature film. That's just the normal edition. And this one, the third disc, which is the special features, which I have not watched yet, but I understand there's a brand new interview with John Woo. I beg your pardon. Chow Yun-fat doesn't actually give an interview about this, but if there are any retrospective ones that I can pull from YouTube, I will shove them into this video.
We start to write the script more than 6 months. 6 months. And then we start to shoot the film for a year. Another half time for me, hard boiled.
When it comes to action movies, if you've never seen Hard Boiled, honestly, I mean, that poster alone is so iconic. By the way, it's a little bit misleading because if you've seen the film, you know that Chow Yun-fat's character of Tequila does not actually wear this outfit. He's more like Sonny Crockett from Miami Vice because he is an undercover cop. So that kind of makes sense why they would use this image of him and the baby, which is just so utterly cool beyond belief. Now, I didn't know this, but the Hong Kong Triad were apparently trying to rustle money from John Woo. They were trying to extort money from them while making this film. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe they saw the success of The Killer from 1989 and thought they could get in on the action. I don't think the Hong Kong Triad got very far with interfering with this film. I do believe as well when Francis Ford Coppola, and by the way, that guy's a bit of a questionable character when he's off screen, had a similar issue when he made the first two Godfather films, but that's neither here or there. We're talking about a seminal action classic right here. Honestly, if you want a great excuse to order a Friday night Chinese takeaway, because I don't know any Cantonese takeaways near where I live, this is the perfect reason to sit back and enjoy a piece of film that, honestly, people always revere certain things within a high standard. I mean, the only Western action movie I really absolutely love is Terminator 2. And I'll forget about getting a 4K of that at the moment, because from what I understand, James Cameron doesn't seem to understand how you 4K a film from the original cinema negative. So another thing I should show you here very quickly, folks, is the booklet that comes with the 4K Blu-ray. And oh wow, this is fantastic. So it's like an essay, it's an account of how they made the movie. And I forgot, John Woo is in the film in two key scenes as a bartender. And I don't know if he was influenced by Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver, and his unhinged character sat in the back seat talking to Robert De Niro about what he wanted to do to his ex-wife in the window. They're observing.
I know you must think that I'm, you must think I'm pretty sick or something. You must think I'm pretty sick. Right? You must think I'm pretty sick?
Actually, John Woo's character that he plays, he's more like a sage to Tequila. It's played by Chow Yun-fat. And it's a really good chemistry between the two of them, actually. I don't think John Woo actually makes a cameo in The Killer from 1989. I don't think he does. I don't recall that he ever did. But honestly, this film is just a cinematic masterpiece. I mean, the first hour of the movie has action, but by the second hour, it really goes balls to the wall like you've never ever seen in a Hollywood movie. I think State of Grace tried to copy elements of this film. I've got to give a special mention to Philip Kwok, who plays the killer Mad Dog, not the Mad Dog from the Raid films, but he wears an eye patch, and I like to call him Eyeclops because, well, when I was at school, any kid that had a wonky eye, I would call him Eyeclops. I know, funny, right? And while he's an absolute madman, he has a shred of conscience. And when that conscience is breached, well, he gets even madder. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. And by the way, the reason why I always rate Asian movies from the 90s and the late 80s as being superior to anything Hollywood has ever produced, because they just approach things in a way that it seems impossible, but they make it very possible. People getting shot at close range, people having melee fights like the way you've never seen them before. This crazy pump action shotgun that's probably, I'm not going to say mine's bigger than yours syndrome, but that's what comes to mind when you see this. Honestly, I can't praise this film enough. Like, every time I watch it, it's a brand new experience. And it makes me angry as well as to how Hollywood came in and persuaded John Woo. I mean, they literally wooed him to come over to America. I know, I understand why John Woo would have been wooed by the prospect of Hollywood wanting him to be a big league director for them, because people like Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh were already seeing international success in other markets such as Australia. When you find someone like John Woo, just like when you find Office Space by Mike Judge, you feel that it's your secret, that you want to protect it. You don't want anybody else to know about it. And unfortunately, as we've often discussed on this channel, where video games get vandalized by activism, the same can be said about Hollywood doing the same to internationally renowned film directors like John Woo.
For in this moment, I just only to merge it, to fantasize how I can go into the Hollywood. Because I can say going to Hollywood for me is very difficult for an Asian actor. Except Bruce Lee.
Die Hard, it's a classic. Of course it is.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
But when you put it up against Hard Boiled, I mean, there's no competition. There seriously isn't. When you watch Hard Boiled, any action film from America that you have in your collection, you're going to take them and trade them in at CEX for something much, much better. But you know what, folks? You'll then have an empty shelf and you'll be thinking to yourself, oh, I wonder what past and future Far East Asian action classics I can fill those shelves up with. And that's the question, actually. Are there any modern day Hong Kong action classics out there that are as good as what we have now that I'm talking about regarding Hard Boiled? Well, if that's the case, let me know in the comments below. And if I were you and if you were me, you should definitely return for the next video.
Hard Boiled, John Woo's long-awaited action masterpiece, is finally available to own on 4K UHD disc in a stunning brand new restoration. Packed with extras, all new interviews, and commentary from John Woo, plus a collectible book. Order the deluxe Hong Kong Cinema Classics edition today.